Oh, Frodo. Stark, you're alive.
Of course I'm alive, you fool.
But you've been dead since 1985.
I don't think so.
That means you're like 108.
And?
I went to your funeral.
Nah, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
Well, for what it's worth, you look good.
We don't have time for this. There's a new religion out there that could threaten everything we've theorized.
Who are they?
They call themselves the Reasonablists.
So what do we know so far?
It all started in the 70s with a man named Lou Prasodovich. In 1970, Prasodovich had an idea. Well, if he wrote a book about getting organized, it was a wild success. Then he had another idea. What if there was a 28-foot lizard god named Zorp? So he wrote Organize It 2, Engage with Zorp.
So this all started with a book?
That's right, but there are some other major events that played a key role. In 1972, the followers of Zorp grew so powerful, they actually managed to take over the town of Pawnee. In 1973, the people of Pawnee rose up against them, and they were tossed out of power and heavily prosecuted. Then, the death of Lou Prasodovich in 1994.
Well, that's quite this history. What sort of things do they believe?
Well,
Zorp the Surveyor is the creator of the universe and should be worshipped. Zorp will return to the earth to melt off our faces.
No more faces!
My friends, to be a true follower of Zorp, there are some things you must do.
We will do them.
You must say, Hail Zorp, when someone says, Hail Zorp. Also, attending the Candlelight Vigil is mandatory for anyone who's a member, or else your membership privileges will be revoked. We must be ready to greet the Creator when he arrives. My friends, it displeases Zorp when we use any instruments that aren't flutes. Don't use any drums, strings, or especially pianos.
Down the pianos.
Also, another rule, we cannot use cash or cards to purchase things, only checks. Hail Zorp!
Hail Zorp!
it seems like this Prasodovich guy really fits our friend Weber's theory of the impact of charismatic authority on religious groups.
I agree. They were clearly willing to do anything he said, and this increased their conviction. I think I'd even go so far as to say that without Lou, this whole thing would never have gone anywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us, Miss Note.
Absolutely, happy to help.
Please, tell us about the interactions you have with the followers of Zorp.
Well, for a while in the 1970s, our town was run by a freaky cult, and every few years, the remaining members predict that the world's gonna end. They contacted me so that they can book the park to have this all-night vigil. It's super annoying. Turns out when you think the world's gonna end, you don't aim so carefully at the porta potties.
And why do they call themselves the Reasonablists?
Well, they figure if people criticize them, it will seem like they're attacking something reasonable.
Action.
Now we're going to interview the current leader, a man named Herb Schaefer.
Stark, would it be safe to say that Herb taking over as leader of the Reasonablists is a good example of Weber's theory of routinization of charisma?
Oh, absolutely. Apparently, just before Lou Prasodovich died, he told his followers that he had a dream in which Zorp the lizard came down and told him that Herb was to be the successor. Ever since, the people have had absolute faith in Herb and done everything he has directed.
Stark, all this talk of candlelight vigils has me thinking about Durkheim's theory of the impact of ritual on religious group solidarity. Wouldn't you agree?
Durkheim is an idiot, but he got this right. He argued that religion never concerns only belief, but also encompasses regular rituals and ceremonies on the part of a group of believers, who then develop and strengthen a sense of group solidarity. Rituals are necessary to bind together the members of a religious group, and they allow individuals to escape from the mundane aspects of daily life into higher realms of experience.
In the context of the Reasonablists, can youth see the binding power rituals have? The candlelight vigils they hold to welcome Zorp have been bringing them together since the 70s. These people wouldn't have a reason to meet and strengthen their ties if it wasn't for the ritual. This is a pretty small group.
Yes, they've shrunk a lot since their glory days in the 70s. Herb over there made a lot of policy changes, moving the Reasonablists into a liberal or even ultra-liberal niche. As a result, there just isn't a high percentage of the population interested in what they have to offer.
I guess that proves our theory of the impact of niche shifting on group growth. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us. Tell us about joining the Reasonablists.
When I was 15, some of my friends at school started going to this candlelight vigils at the park. I like spending time with my friends, so I started going along. Eventually, I made friends with all the old people at those meetings. Old people are hilarious.
It's just like our theory of conversion and reaffiliation in chapter 5 of our book.
Yes, exactly. She developed social capital in this new religion and eventually is strong enough to become a follower of Zorp. Let's interview our next guest.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us.
Absolutely.
Why did you reach out to us?
You see, I'm the 9th level Octopriest in the Church of the Reasonablists.
Wow, that's really something.
Yeah, the land is sacred in our religion because it's the place where all human souls will be transmuted when Zorp the Lizard God passes through Jupiter's sphincter.
Oops. What?
Hail Zorp.
Hail Zorp. Stark, there's one more theory I think these people display.
One of ours?
No, actually, that guy Marx's theory about the impact of ideology on false consciousness. Marx believed that ideologies obscure reality and promote the interests of the ruling class. I think Lou Prozodovich was using Zorp to gain fame and fortune.
What makes you think that?
I just found out that before he died, he covered his entire house in solid gold, engraved in Jupiter's sphincter.
Oh.
What religion am I? Well, I'm a practicing none of your business.